I'm going to just greet the people on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. We're doing this live. I haven't read the patch notes yet, and I didn't pay too much attention to what Marketer posted. And yeah, let's jump into it. Dude, you're the only one not hysterically accusing other people, so they think you're sus. It's so molding. Yeah, I don't know. There was a clear lack of structure within the game, and I didn't know how to maneuver that. And honestly, my plan when I got the imposter was to just play it in a way where I don't like. I wanted to wait. I knew with the way they played it that people would just vote each other out. You know, every time someone calls a meeting and just votes someone out. You know, that people just accusing left and right. And I thought, as an imposter, I would just not say anything. And then I was like pushing a little bit. You know, I was pushing people when they were accusing someone. I was pushing just a little bit. You know. But I was the third imposter some games too, let's be honest. So that's cool. Nevertheless, let's jump into the news. No, I'm kidding. I don't like that guy. Okay. Ahri, Aphelios, Irelia, Ivern, Vayne, Udyr, Sylas, Sivir, Senna, Twisted Fate, Akali, Azir, Caitlyn, Lucian. Okay, reasonable. Twisted Fate is tanking a lot of bans too. Azir, less reasonable. I don't think we should. This should happen. I'm sad about this one. Nevertheless, this is the world's patch. So let's jump into it. We're going to find time to make like a tier list, a meta tier list at some point, maybe coming into the next days. But it is what it is, right? It is what it is. We're going to just check out the rest of this patch. Ahri. So Ahri got changes in 10.18. She got move speed on W. This is a neat change. I don't know if this is enough to justify placing her in drafts. I give a think about the current meta where she could make sense. In the past, people used Ahri as a pick into Orianna. Even though Orianna can win 1v1, especially from 1 to 5, those are very, very hard times for Orianna. Mana cost down is also convenient. I don't know if this is enough to push her push her into pro play. Ahri is a very dangerous champion that, you know, when she is too strong, her mobility is just too OP, and they always need to be very careful with how they nerf her. Another thing to consider is most of the time you don't max W first, but this is already in effect at rank 1, right? This is already in effect on rank 1. I think there might be some room for Ahri, but the problem is, I don't know. I don't think she synergizes too well with a lot of meta junglers. I feel like Ahri is just, in a lot of cases, a worse version of LeBlanc. And I doubt this is going to be picked at the World Championship. They just want to sell skins. That's the move. They should have buffed it a little bit harder. I think there's no reason to pick LeBlanc. There's no reason to not pick LeBlanc when you want to pick Ahri. And that's my issue with this champion. We continue. Akali, Q-based damage and AD ratio decreased. Q-based damage, that's a 5 damage down. Ability power. The main question here is if this pushes Akali in a point where she doesn't one-shot the Ahri, where Akali doesn't one-shot the range minions at level 9 at certain points. That could make this change very, very awkward. Of course, this is a nerf. I think it really comes down to if the break point of the all-in, I mean, killing the minions, that one's going to be huge, and just pushing in general, because the ability power scaling is down. I think in a lot of cases, Akali is still going to be in kill range of people, so it's not like the biggest nerf ever, but it's going to matter. There's going to be some situations where you're not going to get a kill because of this change, with a very, very slight margin. And with that being said, I'm just more worried about how this is going to interact with minions. If this is something that gets affected, like if you don't one-shot range minions at certain item breakpoints, that's going to be very cringe. Is Akali being balanced around pro play? Yeah. Everything here is balanced around pro play. So as you can see, this is pro leagues. They are nerfed because of pro leagues, right? Akali is not balanced for solo queue at all. Aphelios, attack damage growth. That is 0.4. That's 0.4 per level. I think Aphelios has some niche situations where he can be strong. I think right now, because of all the nerfs, he's no longer like the pick all, beat all, pick always beat all champion. Because even though, you know, you could argue that he has some inherent weaknesses, like he is weak against Gangplank and so forth, which is 100% true. That can be said about a lot of the AD carries, right, in the current meta. What made Aphelios so absurdly OP was, I don't agree with the notion that he was like always a short range champion. There were situations where you had green and white, and that was insanely OP. Aphelios' lane phase got nerfed a lot, and he's no longer super dominant in lane. Like he just had like very good sequencing with weapons. And Aphelios, I don't know how many nerfs he actually got. He got like 7, 8, 9 nerfs in a row. And I think maybe we could see some Aphelios with some 80 bans, because I doubt this patch is going to nerf Caitlyn, Ashe, and all of those champions hard enough to push them out of pro play. So I think it is probably, and considering there's no Ashe nerf here, we might see situations where Ashe is out, Ashe is banned, and then another AD carry gets banned, and then maybe Ezreal's out because you have Deft and Ruler and whatever, and then maybe that is the point in time where you might see an Aphelios. So this is welcome, right? This is welcome. Like there's some situations where Aphelios is good. They are kind of they finally kind of reached a point where this is balanced. Azir, W bonus attack speed decreased. So he loses 5% attack speed. I think you feel this the most early levels. Triple soldier bonus attack speed, this matters too. Yeah, this is a nerf, right? I don't think Azir was in OP territory, and I think the prio of Azir definitely went down a lot. And this is definitely, you know, any nerf to Azir is a buff to the likes of, for example, an Orianna. And Orianna is very happy to see such a change. Then Syndra and Orianna is going to be the champions that are going to be most played. But I think that the players that love Azir are still going to pick Azir in those situations when some mid bans actually come down. So I don't think this is going to change the prio that much, because the prio has already gone down for Azir, honestly. The prio has gone down for Azir already. So let's continue. Base AD and attack speed growth decreased. So last patch we already saw the reduction of move speed for Caitlyn. That was a big buff, because in a lot of cases move speed equates range. And if you give Caitlyn move speed, you're increasing her range, and her range was already absurd. The reason it does, it's like it increases the distance you can move between autos and how much you can move up and so forth. That's why Misfortune has so high move speed. Her range can be kind of deceptive, right? I don't think, like, my opinion of Caitlyn was already that Ashe should be able to win, and I think this is going to be, you know, Worlds is going to be where you maybe trade Ashe, Kate. This is something that Jhin is going to welcome. This is something that Ashe is going to welcome. I still think Kate is going to be relevant at the World Championship. Next nerf, next buff, our barrage and perimeter base damage increased later. I don't think this matters. Irelia is good where she's good and bad where she's bad. I don't think this is going to change it. This is a Sylas buff. No, I'm kidding, but yeah. Yeah. Okay. What is Moses doing in the chat? Yeah, so Irelia is great in some games and absolutely terrible in some games. So this is Sylas buff, I guess. I don't know. That was a silly comment to make. I wasn't too serious. Guys, can you stop arguing? Like, what is up? Like, find a different place to argue. Ivern buff. Oh, well, Ivern buff, as silly as it sounds, it's a Caitlyn buff. Ivern is a champion that has some limits of potential. The problem with Ivern always is that the level of impact that Ivern has within a game is too inconsistent. Like there are some situations where Ivern is great, but there are some situations where he absolutely does nothing. And in games where there's a lot of activity, I think this champion is very bad. In games where you can get, where the blue buff and the red buff makes a difference for your lanes and the game is very slow, I think Ivern can be amazing. If Ivern gets to one item, usually the game is just over by then for most jungle matchups, but getting there is tough. You can get invaded on, which can be counteracted. There is clever ways of playing Ivern, but there is only like a certain point that you can reach with cleverness. At some point, the measurement of your power occurs when people figure out how to play against it. I think this is something that you can throw people off of, because this is definitely a champion that I feel like you need to really like keep in your mind when you play against, because it's so different in comparison to other champions. But yeah, Ivan definitely has moments where she's super strong. She has moments where well, I said she because I'm talking about Daisy. Sorry, he has moments where he's strong and he's moments where he doesn't have a lot of power, and that makes it very awkward. It's like you have to force a 2v2. You have to contest a 2v2 at a certain point in time. Ivan is shoehorned into a position where he needs to play reactionary, and then he loses a lot of 1v1s against junglers, and I think this is the problem with Ivan. And the way he eats jungle is also kind of strange, and I think that puts him in a position where he's problematic. I don't think this buff changes him or makes him absurdly OP. Yeah. I think Jin is meta. His health speed is unseeable and only minus 13 on block. Also is... What the fuck are you talking about? You're talking about Tekken right here? I just worry about like Ivan playing against Set, and your laners are just sad about this champion. He has moments in the game where he's strong, but the inconsistency of that makes it hard to adjust as laners to it. So maybe someone can grab some wins. I wouldn't be surprised if like a play-in team gets like a very nice win against like an LGD or a Team Liquid or a Mad Lions playing Caitlyn and Ivern. This is something like Unicorns of Love could pull off. Like I'm certain there are situations to cheese a game or two off of this, But this has nothing to do with the buff. This is just a discussion of Ivern. Lucian, base AD growth decreased. Similar to Akali, Lucian is trending towards becoming an overbearing flex pick at World, since large reason for this is due to solo lane prowess, with reining that in by lowering his experience scaling. Well, I think the main reason why Lucian is strong is because of AP junglers. If you want to nerf Lucian, I think you should... doesn't Ivan lose hard against power farming junglers? Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky. It's very tricky. Like, Ivan's power levels are way too inconsistent, I feel, to rally behind the timers of your teammates. Nevertheless, we continue on with Lucian. I still think he's going to serve the same purpose. This nerf is going to be felt, and it is going to make a difference in some games, but with the approach that Riot has had to nerfs is just to kind of tone down the win percentage by 1 or 2%. Karma's been giga nerfed, guys. Very big nerf from Karma some past seasons ago, or some past patches ago. So I think Lucian will still have the same position, but I think this also opens up for the potential Tristana. I think Tristana mid is something that is very underrated. I think you go Stormrazor, and the synergy with E and crit is something that is very nice. Can you confirm Alice casting modes? No, it's not my place to do so. I wish I could. I'm sure a lot of people will be happy about that. Nevertheless, we continue. Senna. Miss rate drop chance on minion kills decreased. So this is a massive nerf. Massive nerf. Massive nerf. This is huge. This might go as far as to kill Senna. So there are matchups where you can get away with picking Senna and not be winning and still be in a very strong position with Senna. But this might bring back some like set, Senna, whatever, maybe. Like, I think this is a huge hit. Very, very big hit. I think this hurts. This is a bit too extreme, I feel. But I don't know the win percentages, so I can admit that. But my anecdotal evidence from watching a lot of pro player games is definitely that this is a bit too heavy-handed. Yeah. I think something to note as well, considering a lot of AD carries are nerfed, I think there is room to bring back Zyrakan. Zyrakan has got a lot of stealth buffs. Not stealth buffs, but they're gone like under the radar. I think Zyrakan could make a reappearance. Definitely. Nevertheless, we continue. Sylas fallen off the radar, so increasing your ability to hunt down enemies in the hopes that she boomerangs back into power. I don't think this matters too much. Sure, it is a little like oomph, but that doesn't really address the problem of Sivir. She's just too low range, and yeah, that's the problem. Too low range, and that's it. I'm not saying Zyra Soraka, I'm saying Zaya Rakan. Zaya Rakan. Our cooldown decrease later. I don't know why Sylas is getting buffed. I really don't know. I think Sylas is already, like, if anything, maybe his early game is something that is problematic sometimes. But I think this is not necessary. Like, why? I think Sylas is in a good place. Sylas is in a very, very good place. And especially now coming into World Championship, we have a lot of GP, we have a lot of Ornn, a lot of top lane ults are very juicy, a lot of super loots are very juicy. Like the meta with how it stands right now, it's I like this champion. I like this champion. But he is very weak early. Very, very weak early. So I guess they want to just make him pop much in a greater form. Yes, sure, we saw Caps play Sylas, right, against Corki, but no one's going to blind pick Corki at the World Championship. Like, if someone's blind picking Corki at the World Championship, then, yeah. That one is very rough. Twist of Fate, base MS reduced. So this is huge for champion like Twist of Fate. Especially considering this, right? Like, they are right together on the screen. We have Hijack on the screen. This is the buff of Sylas. Sylas loves to be picked into Twist of Fate, and Twist of Fate receiving a nerf and Sylas getting a buff. This will shift the matchup in Sylas' favor. So that's cool. That's cool. Korean mids blind pick Corki. Yeah, maybe 3 months ago. But not any longer. That's for sure. If DRX, like if Chovy is blind picking Corki, it's because he doesn't respect the enemy player. And yeah. Udyr is buffed. I don't know how to rate this. I thought everyone plays Tiger, so I don't know. This is another Sylas buff. This is just another Sylas buff, guys. It's a Sylas buff. It's a Sylas buff. That's what it is. It's a Sylas buff. Well, I can't really understand this or explain this. I don't know. I can admit that I don't know too much about Udyr, but I think his kit is a bit too outdated, you know? Like, Udyr is very outdated, like Icon is outdated. Sylas gets to use your ult every 24 seconds with 40% CDR. Yeah, pretty much. And then a lot of people are using the Eye, Cosmic Insight as well. This might be, yeah, AP booster items. That's a good point, Nicktron fanboy. Let's continue. Vayne, final hour, 1080. Doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. Right now, like, the only viable situation where she might be picked is maybe like, I don't know, like maybe against an Ezreal or something cheesy like that, or maybe as a top lane pick. But she has too many inherent weaknesses. Like, she has low base stats, her laning is piss poor, she can't push at any point in the game. I don't know, like, I think this is just a poisonous champion. Caps mid Vayne, sure, but even that is like, there's better champions to pick than Vayne mid. Because even though people like to reference back to that Vayne game, he almost lost it as well with the mid 2v2. Like the Gali was winning. Like the Vayne was dying left and right, and then Hansama got eaten into the wall. So that's a Sukumucho, but you get what I'm trying to say. One for all balance changes, we don't care. Our unbalanced changes, we don't care. Leak client add folder next text. You no longer have to click multiple times to acknowledge that you've been kicked out of a lobby. Once is enough. That's funny. Nautilus R depth charge can no longer stun unstoppable targets like Morpheus casting. That's cool. That's good. Because I've had this happen to me many times as a Fizz. This has happened to me as a Fizz, but I don't know if it's the same unstoppable targets. Seal Fate, Yon, we don't care about Yon. It's not in the Force of Will range indicators no longer missing. Cool. Teleport's cooldown tool did not properly updates when using Cosmic Insight. Cool. You're still listed on Among Us. Who cares? I'm closing the stream right now. I think Sylas is going to be good at the World Championship. I think there's just many good ults in general in the meta. Like the junglers have good ults, like everyone just has good ults. Today was a very long stream. I streamed for 8 hours. This was absolutely nuts. I feel very tired. I cut myself, like not intentionally, like I just cut my thumb open and I ripped it open. I pulled down my pants and I realized I didn't have a band-aid on and I fucked myself over. Yeah, it's a tough one. Nevertheless, thanks so much for watching. We are going to do maybe a breakdown of the meta if we have time for it, but we're going to have to do some research on the play-in teams. I'm going to have to do some research on the play-in teams. Thank you so much for watching, all of you guys. Thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate it. Thank you for the new moderators for taking care of the stream and also being, you know, very light with turn. Like he's dressed as an American. You know, Adidas is a German brand, so I don't know how that makes any sense because I am wearing full Adidas right now. I really appreciate it, guys. I might catch you tomorrow. I might rest tomorrow. Who knows? All of these videos are going to be cut up and slowly uploaded onto YouTube. With that being said, thank you very much. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye bye.